Hi, welcome to the recording of Fall in the Garden, a gentle meditation for a seasonal transition using soul based coaching questions after the meditation. And I'm recording this for people to join in later. And first, I just want to welcome you and everybody check in with themselves as to where are you right now in this season? If this season is fall for you, fall is like breathing a sigh of relief. I've been producing during the summer. I have created my seeds and my nuts and everything I need to have created for posterity for this year. And it's a time of going within, of going to your roots, of going to what nourishes and nurtures you as you go into the dream time, which is in wintertime when we're in the darkness and we are less productive. But this time, when the energies are moving, is a really good time to detox because the energies and the things in your body are moving, and you can gently move out or let go of things that you don't need. And so if you wanted to start a detox, um, or something like that, to change your habits, to change anything, it's a really good time because in the fall or in the spring, whereas the fall is the energy is going down and lessening, the spring it's rising and coming up. So this meditation of rose and maple is based on last year when I did a flower essence during this exact same time, and there's this beautiful yellow rose bush and that sits beneath a maple tree, and the rose bush had been producing all summer and going and going and going, and then here where I live it gets really hot and buggy, and in the midsummer it just says whew, and the bugs eat it and it can't bloom as much anymore, and every time it blooms a bug is devouring it, and it's when it gets leggy and it gets the molds or whatever, and it gets kind of weaker, and then suddenly the cold air comes one night and you cut back the dead ends, and there's in fall because it's like breathing, oh, the cold air is here. I'm going to bloom one more time before the winter comes and have a gentle, very small, but important, whoops, trying to show you this blossom here. These little blossoms that come out that are its last ode, I would call it, to this year and to the season, and for us to enjoy these delicate little roses that come up that are layered but simple and gentle, and they're very fragrant, to say, this is my rose medicine, the last bloom of the year. And then the tree, this is actually from my miniature hawthorn bonsai, but I love how the colors of the leaves are changing when they encounter the cold air at night. Trees are that aren't evergreen are saying, "Oh, it's time for my sugars to go down and into my roots. And I'm not producing, these sugars anymore, creating, sugars from photosynthesis and sunshine and water, and taking all that in and making green leaves and seeds and flowers of the trees. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to just rest now. And that act of beginning to rest begins to, the colors, the green goes out of the flower, I mean, out of the leaf, and the green recedes and these beautiful colors, and how instead of being hard on ourselves for letting go of our production and our green, but to say, hey, isn't this beautiful? Me going to rest for the season and letting go, going into my roots is a beautiful thing. And there's just so many different manifestations of that. And maples are really good at showing the color, but then also maples here in the US is where we get maple syrup, and that whole sugars of the sap. Maple syrup comes from just the little bit of hint of spring makes the sap rise, and that's when they tap out the sugar. But right now, we're not tapping the sugar. The sugar is going down into the roots to feed and nourish the tree from below. Also, in your garden in the fall, you'll see, um, this was a sunflower and it's gone to seed, and it's beautiful that way too. And then it begins to get dry and crinkly. And these seeds, if you leave them on the stem, feed and nourish the birds and squirrels and other things, and also are there for next year. So by leaving the flowers, they create food for others. And then I also wanted to share this beautiful rose hip that shows orange in the fall. And so this is when the rose gets pollinated by the bees. And this is the seed of the rose, but it's also nourishing for us. And if you ever have rosehip tea, you know that it's vitamin C rich, and it also helps and enables for us to absorb vitamin C, which is really important for our immunity, getting ready for winter. So by doing this meditation, we are absorbing the rose medicine and the tree medicine and enabling vibrationally for us to tap into that, and also a reminder, because you can also take extra vitamin C to take care of yourself. Well, um, I think let's just get started. We'll just look at what we're going to do is start with this grounding meditation, and you will be in the garden. And what you want to have is a notebook or paper and pen. And I've also gonna put a link in the invoke thing of a Yo-Yo Ma suite to play while you're journaling or doing art about this towards the end. And but right now you have all those things: your water, your tea, your art supplies, your pen. And also it's really good stones to augment this is clear quartz, just for transition, and rose quartz. And rose quartz is just a really gentle um, stone that can help you transmute and transition to this new season. And whenever I mention rose quartz, this one cat comes in, so she might be coming in front of the screen, because it's when I talk about rose quartz, she's definitely loves that medicine. Okay, so what I want you to do is get comfortable, and you can lay down or sit up, and you can be on screen or off. And while you're getting comfortable, engage with the ground somehow, whether it's on your back, through your bed, feel your feet touching the floor, and just let out that sense of relief that you're here and taking this time for yourself. And we're going to start in the fall morning when the air has just gotten cold through the wind has brought in some cold air the night before. And you are in the roots of the rose bush in the garden. And you're feeling your roots, and you're feeling your energy starting to go down. And you're underground. And you're at peace. And the wind above you is bringing in a change of seasons. And you've been producing all summer long with the long days and the joyous days, joyous nights. And your energy has been outward. And then with the feeling of the cold air, you realize, hey, this is almost the freeze. And before the freeze, I'm going to send up a few, maybe even one more blossom. One blossom. One gentle blossom that's easy to produce. And as you're sending just a little bit of energy back up for another blossom for the season, and the sun is up in the morning, there's a fog all around you, and it's gentle, and it protects you, and it cushions you. It's cushioning you for this transition. And you get this blossom, and it comes up through the leaves. And it's tight at first, but not real tight. And it just loosens and loosens until it opens gently. There's a beautiful fragrance. And it's just gently opening, just a few layers. And as it's opening, you're showing your pollination stems and stamens to say just one more seed pod head. What am I going to do? Having one last blossom. And you sit in the cushion by the air and you start to feel the warmth of the sun pushing through. And the wind takes the clouds away slowly. And eventually, by midday, there's a nice, cool, breezy sunshine. And you can still hold on to your gentle blossoms in the wind. And the sun makes you open even more. And we're going to do the move where you lean back, open your shoulders and breathe. But you're taking that energy from the sun and air into your roots again. And the roots are sending back up some energy. And as they send back up the energy and the clouds is parted in their sun, you realize there's a maple tree above you, and you can hear the leaves that are starting to get a little crinkly blowing in the wind. And you jump into that maple tree and you become that maple tree, and you're tall and beautiful. And your roots go deeper, deeper than the rose bush, and they go underneath all around where the rose bush is. There are many creatures that live within you. And you realize that the cold air has come and you have all these beautiful leaves. And you can put your hands out and feel your leaves tingling in the wind. And then your energy is starting to recede from the wind, from the cold. Your energy is starting to go out of your leaves and into your roots. And as your energy transitions, it leaves beautiful colors behind. And you are bedazzled and decorated by all the beautiful colors of you letting go. How beautiful you are when you're letting go of your energies and going to nourish yourself into your roots. How beautiful you are in oranges and yellows and pinks and golds. And how beautiful you are that you let your leaves drop when they turn brown and they feed the earth and they feed you as you go down into your roots. They feed your roots. Your sap, all of your energy is going down into the roots, into the ground, into the darkness, and the comfort, and you're protected, and you're not cold, and quiet, and you are ready for the dreaming of what might become in your seeds for next year. And just sit with that, the letting go, the sugars going down into the ground, the energy going into the roots, making the roots strong. And it's okay to let go, and it's okay to rest. And you breathe in and out, making your own wind that blows away all that you need to shed for this season. So when you're ready, you can sit with that. And when you're ready to open your eyes and wiggle yourself a little bit. And if there's anything you want to write down right now, we're going to have some time for journaling. But I'm going to do some soul-based questions to help explore this. But I'm going to give a minute that if you want to, just something that came to you that's important, just write it down right now. And these questions that I give, you can write an answer to. You can replay them if I'm going too fast and pause. And they can just inspire you, or you can write an answer. However you will want to process these. They're here for you. When you are a fall rose bush in the morning fog, it is like what? And what colors are your last blossom of the season or color? What is your last blossom holding? And is there anything else about your last blossom of the season before the freeze? And as your rose blossom gently opens in the fog, where are you? And As your rose blossom gently opens, what happens just before the opening? And is there anything else about you gently opening in the fog? What smells? What sounds? And what happens just after you blossom? And when you receive the rose medicine, it is like what? And when the fog shifts and blows away to the long rays of autumn sunset, what happens to your blossom? What happens to your stem? What happens to your roots? And when the fog clears and you as a maple tree let go of your green to go down to your roots, it is like what? And as your leaves change, what colors are they? Or color? And as your leaves change and you're letting go, is there anything else about letting go? And as the color recedes out of your leaves and change, is there anything else about changing? And when the sugars in your circulation go down to your roots to rest, what happens just before rest? And when you go down to your roots to rest and let go of this year's seeds and production, it is like what? And where is rest? And where is rest? And when you're in the fall garden with a rose bush and a maple tree, what do you know now? And what I like to do in these meditations is just give a time to let the energy come in, and you can be creative and do art or do journaling or just rest, because we are about resting here, and see what comes to you. I included in the feed a Yo-Yo Ma suite, Bach suite, but it's only 5 minutes, so we're gonna play that, but be careful for the commercials because they can really, it's on YouTube, because they can really interrupt you. So mute it until then. And then it's Yo-Yo Ma Bach Cello Suite number 5, which kind of really goes with this energy. And so I'm gonna do 5 minutes of meditation or journaling or creative time where for you right now. And so enjoy. Well, I could just listen to those cello suites all day with this, and I would invite you to do that if you can. Those Bach, Yo-Yo Ma Bach cello suites are especially, with the cello, the deepness of going within. It's very inspiring for that. And you know, this time we would usually have sharing. And for those of you on replay, maybe you might want to share what came to you out loud right now to manifest it, to feel the reality of it. Um, I would really enjoy on the feed hearing if you did this meditation and if it, you know, something came to you that you'd like to share. I'd really enjoy that. Or if you want to, be good to know. I kind of have been sitting with this to get ready to work with you, and I was just thinking, what am I ready to let go of? And that feeling of I'm not enough, I am struggling, I will not achieve all these things I set out to do. That feeling of scampering and struggling to harvest before the cold air comes in. and just to be okay with what is and what has happened and what is done and what have I achieved. And that the leaves from the maple tree were coming down and composting to the ground, and they're feeding the things that we've done. They're feeding us for the next year. And this feeds me. And don't hold so tight. Just let that blossom go. And just and then when the blossom is done already through this, the blossom has been opening, and then the petals will also gently fall, just like the leaves. And that's okay. We're not in constant blossoming and constant showing and constant mass production and constant full everything. And by letting go, then you are nurtured by the seeds and the nutrients and letting nature take care of you. So that's something that came up for me. And I hope you enjoyed this fall transitional meditation. And if you're not in fall, you're in spring. And that can always be like the sap is rising. But then there's sometimes even just in the season, we just need to retreat and let go. So this is good for that too. Thank you so much. And thank you, Soul-Based Coaching Community, for this opportunity to share. Hope you have a good weekend. Take care.